Hey brother, let's discover and help each other. Stefo here from the Tantric Man Experience, back with another video. Today we're going to discover a major block to men's sexual freedom. So this will be just focusing on one of three big blocks, and it might be counterintuitive to think that to reach sexual freedom, one must remove the blockages on the road to get there. You might be thinking, why not just to go straight forward and focus on that one special technique that will do it for you. Just do this one thing and you have sexual freedom. But I'm here to tell you, there is no quick fixes. We need to discover all those hard and difficult things and do that work necessary to remove what's blocking that, what's holding us back, what is preventing us from living our full sexual expression, and what are our limiting beliefs about our sexuality that doesn't serve the best version of ourselves. So let's find it out. Let's dive in. In this video, I want to talk about the first one, which is fear. And we have many types of fears, right? So I will go through a few of them. We have fear of vulnerability, for example. We have fear of not being good enough, feeling unworthy of love, usually stemming from feeling unloved in our childhood. And that can cause performance anxiety in the bedroom, approach anxiety on the street, meeting a new partner, right? And it can really paralyze a man from taking action in life. And that creates a tremendous suffering, because when not taking life by the balls and doing what you really want to do, you lose the confidence in yourself and you might feel really hopeless and lonely. And another fear that we have here is the fear of intimacy, right? Intimacy might be interpreted in a negative way. For example, does kissing a girl means that you have to marry her? Does touch mean sex? Does that equal sex, just to have touch? So all these things of intimacy, because we don't have a clear definition of what it is. There is no line between intimacy, connection, sex, right? So we need to distinguish them as well, because connection and intimacy does not always have to mean in a sexual way, right? And this can create a lot of confusion and hesitation in our sexual expression and often block a man from initiating, and also leaving that sense of hopelessness, like there's nothing I can do about it. This is just how I am, how I'm wired, and it's always been like this. I cannot do anything about it. And that leads us to the next fear, the fear of commitments, right? It usually goes along with, the absent father or the mother in childhood, and we feel we cannot commit to a partner, a romantic relationship, and we find ourselves in this pattern of jumping from one relationship to the next endlessly. And we just repeating this pattern again and again, never settling. Even though we feel frustrated, we cannot just seem to manage to stay in a relationship and make it work. And it's really killing us. Many times we don't even see the pattern, but if we do, we feel just frustrated that it's kind of repeating itself again and again. It's like, where is that coming from, right? The fear of commitments. And it might be in a long-term relationship, in a long-term marriage, you're not fully there, right? But you are physically present, but your wife complains about you're not emotionally there, you're emotionally absent, right? So that can be the fear of commitment in a long-term marriage, right? Like you're not fully in with your both feet. One feet is outside. Your emotional self is not invested in the marriage, right? So it can both show up as being alone, stuck by yourself, repeating the same patterns and breaking up all the time, or in a marriage, a long-term relationship, but you're just not fully there, present, right? And then we have the fear of the conversation of sex. Believe it or not, but in my work, I experienced that there's quite a lot of couples who don't talk about sex, what they like about sex, what turns them on, what turns their partner on, and there's a lot of fear around that kind of conversation. And what is missing here? When that is missing, it actually creates a big gap in the connection and the passion in the relationship, right? Because that conversation can lead to so much disconnection, awkwardness, anxiety around sexuality, right? We're not really knowing the other partner, what they like and what they want to do, right? So that conversation is so important, but yet we find ourselves not being able, having that because of fear. Fear what the other person would think about. Fear that we might not be accepted with the fantasies and desires that we have, or fear that we're not being able to communicate. Like what do I want? What do I like? Can I really ask for that, right? So what happens here is at first, because you don't know what your partner likes sexually, you're not able to fully express your true sexual nature, right? And that's a shame because we're missing out of a big part of our lives. Sexuality is natural, it's a key component in a healthy relationship. Sexual issues is one of the biggest reasons for breakups and divorces, if not the biggest, right? Okay, so let's go to another fear, the fear of failure, wanting to be seen strong. Yeah, I can definitely relate to this one. I think a lot of my brothers can too. We grew up in a society that says that masculinity has to be stoic and strong and not show weakness. And we fall into this fear of like, oh, I don't want to be seen as weak because I would be humiliated in front of my friends, in front of my community or school, whatever that might be. So we shit scared of being seen as soft or weak, right? So we put on a mask of the tough one, of not and suppressing our true expression of who we really are as a full spectrum man, human being, right? Just because we were taught this corrupt way of understanding, and we end up fearing life, fearing ourselves, and ending up feeling not living our lives fully and living our lives as a lie because we cannot connect to our own real emotions and purpose and happiness in this world. And that can be totally sexually, to be totally sexually open in the bedroom, we need to be able to face failure and to be soft when necessary. Remember, honesty is an aphrodisiac. Telling the truth to yourself, you feel amazing and authentic to yourself. Bringing that confidence back and telling the truth to someone else and your partner, that really sparks that passion again, right? So these are some of the common fears that blocks a man and women for their sexual freedom and fully expressing themselves sexually. And the consequences of these fears are that it causes chronic disconnection, which leads to more fighting, less physical intimacy, and that disconnection leads to less sex, less intimacy with your partner and your future lover, right? Endless arguments and disagreements will also kill that freedom and that peace of mind that every man wants and seeks and desires. Freedom and peace of mind, the core masculine attributes, that is dampened and dissipating, right? So what to do? What to do in this situation? First, we need to learn how to identify our fears. Many times, we don't even know what we are afraid of. or that we even have a fear. We shrug our shoulders and say, I'm not scared. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm a man. I'll just go out there and pretend I'm not scared. Secondly, first of all, so we need to, recognize that, be humble, and accept that we have fear. So without that, we cannot deal with that, right? And secondly, we need to learn how to accept and welcome that emotion of fear, so it can be processed and eventually healed. Okay, that's the second step. And the last step here, we need to choose. We need to choose a more empowered feeling, a feeling of courage, a feeling of vulnerability. And this become a fearless man when we do that. And we're able to replace fear with courage and vulnerability. We become fearless, a fearless man that is in total freedom of his sexual expression, whether he's single or in a relationship, but is fully authentic in his sexual expression. How beautiful is that? How empowering is that? So my invitation to you here is that if you feel that you're having a hard time figuring this out by yourself, and you feel you need guidance on how to get there fast and easy, I am here to help. If you want to heal these blockages, reclaim your sexual freedom, become fearless and shameless, start feeling and expressing emotions intelligently, raising that EQ, right? Then you are welcome to have a conversation with me, and we can go through exactly what's stopping you from experiencing sexual freedom, where the blockages are coming from, and let's discover and uncover together how your ideal sexual freedom looks like. So if you want that, go to tantricacademy.com/apply. Pick your time and answer a few questions in the application. I will just go through that application, and I'm looking forward to being of service here and creating a game plan towards your personal sexual freedom. So stay strong out there, stay healthy. My brothers, take care. See you next time.